Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to spend about 20 minutes of your time. I do promise that I will try and make it a bit more interesting. I will not have as interesting story as our professor here in the surfing perspective, but at least I will spend some time just trying to connect what he was talking about. And I'm really happy that the prof was speaking into a bit of what I'm actually about to just to speak into. I will give a bit of a perspective. I'm happy to hear that we are aligned in some of the focus. I was looking at some of the definition that he gave there, and I got the feeling that really part of his experience, and again what we are seeing with the client, having dealt with the clients for about 15 years now, we are really aligned in terms of the value proposition and what you're supposed to be defining some of those things. But maybe just to begin, part of the conversation when we are trying to ideate on what we want to talk about during the summit or during this symposium was the fact that digital transformation is not new. And in the conversation, our alignment was that before COVID and before we got into the natural kick that people felt or organizations felt they need to have to move, there was always that perspective of people moving on their journey at different paces. And when you look at now, after the wave of COVID, after the kick that everybody received, after the need to avail products and services in the marketplace, where the customers are at their own convenience, what we started seeing is that a lot of organizations were then pushed and had to dip into a situation where they needed to pace up in terms of how they are providing their services or the products or how they are availing them in the marketplace. And therefore, when we were talking with Harry, we asked the question, why is it that even after all the information that is available on the media, why is it that even with all the conversations around the digital transformation, there's always a feel that there's a gap between the expectations of what digital was supposed to achieve, the digital transformation process was supposed to achieve. There is a feel always that the C-suite team, the board team, always feel that they don't understand the value proposition that is being brought across by the business with regard to digital transformation. You look at the customer experience as the index, and the organizations are saying, we feel that the digital transformation objective of having to raise that index has not really achieved what they were looking for. And again, there is always a conversation of why is it that we feel digital transformation is a one-time event? We always put in a project, and immediately after that, we always get the feel that people tend to default back into the initial way they were handling the processes, the customer focus. And therefore, what we then agreed with Harry was that, is it possible for us then to share some of the insight of what we have seen for the organizations that have managed to really jump the hoop or the challenge of coming up with a digital transformation that really worked? And from that conversation, we were then trying to look fast pace after COVID. And you look at the statistics, and I wish the statistics were up here. What we were seeing is that about 61% of those organizations that participated, we did a survey last year and part of this year, and we noted that about 61% of those, 39 of them felt that they had been accelerated in terms of the journey of digital transformation by the forces of COVID, and they were now moving faster than they were actually had planned to. About 29% of that were feeling that their customer experience and the seamlessness objective of what they were offering, again, had been expedited years ahead and much speed than they had thought they would. The other statistics we were looking at was on the perspective that majority of them felt that they needed to change their business operating model and avail, say for example, the products online, insurance companies. If you look at banking services, they started feeling that they needed really to expedite way much faster, again being placed and being pushed to move at a state much faster than they had thought that they would. The other thing that we are looking at is in terms of the operation efficiency. And about 51%, I hope these statistics are right. I'm just taking them from my head as I remember. So about 53%, again, 53% said that we feel that 38 of that population have been again pushed to expedite that process and being pushed to be on a journey that is way years ahead of them. Why? The reason is for them is just so that they can be able to then catch up with the demands of the changing customer behavior. And then we conducted a CEO survey just recently. And in that CEO survey, we were looking to understand where is the CEO's perspective as far as digital transformation is concerned. And we noted that they are actually really willing to play the role in terms of supporting and sponsoring the digital transformation. About 76% of them said that they are no longer scared of digital transformation journeys. In fact, they see that as an opportunity for them to grow. 88% of them saying, we are ready and willing to divest from any of the journeys that have got digital obsolescence in the near future. And 40% of them saying that we are investing in training our people so that they can keep up with the digital requirements. And then 70% of them saying that when you look at where we are, we have an aggressive digital transformation journey. And this was about 2 weeks ago, where we felt and we saw there is an issue. This wave is harder than you said. Is there an issue with the battery? Okay. Okay, move on to the next one. And move to the next slide. Okay. So good. And then we therefore then went ahead again and picked up about 860 digital transformation specialists. And we were asking, therefore, when you look at the dots that we are noticing, these challenges that I highlighted before, about not being able to meet the KPIs, about not being able to meet the customer index expectations, about having misaligned C-suite and board, about not being able to have a sustainable information or transformation journeys. We looked at the priorities that quite a number of these organizations have. And the digital leaders were saying, when we started our journey, we made our priorities very well. And we were looking to see that our digital transformation journey would then allow us to get a seamless experience for the customer. And I want you to really focus and look at these perspectives. The second one, they said, we want to improve the quality of the customer experience as they engage with us. And then the third one said that we want to improve the quality of the employee experience. Then the other one saying we want to make our business more agile. And the last one saying driving operational efficiency was part of the priority. Now, with that focus, what we noted is, and you can notice very clearly, just like the Prof said, that their digital transformation effort that they were putting in place was really not about just growing the technology perspective. To them, the obsession was actually in the customer. So the focus that they have put in, so if you are looking into creating alliances, if you're looking into, say for example, coming up with new technologies, if you're looking into changing your culture in how you operate, if you're looking to changing your business model, it really has to start with the outside-in view of who your customer is. The customer obsession for the digital leaders is what came out strongly out of this. And then we looked and saw that as we are doing our CEO, what came out again was that 80% of the organization were saying, yes, we are focused on the customer. But when we look closely at that, we noted about 47% were the one who are saying, we are exceeding the customer experience. But the challenge is that only 15% of that are then able to do so in a consistent manner. It becomes a one-time event. If you're going to the market with a new product, you only do it once, the dynamics of the market changes, then you're not able again to morph and move into that space fast enough. 15% were only able to do that. And then out of that conversation, we then asked ourselves, what then does it take to connect those dots? What does it take for you to say that I have a digital transformation approach that will allow me to meet the needs of my customers? And out of the experience, we have been able to meet quite a number of clients, banking, insurance. When you look at some of the organizations that we have worked with, food and beverages, NGOs. And when we were looking at that, the question was, what approach can I take that allows me to connect my customer promise from the point of where I engage with the customer, which we call the front office, how I curate my product, assume it's a bank, how you create your credit products, your trade finance product. When you're looking at an insurance, how you create your policies. This is the middle office. And then the back office that support the creation and availing those products for the client is what we are calling the front, the back, and the middle office. And the question was, is there an approach that can help me keep check? as I create a digital transformation journey so that I don't miss out on creating that promise and being able to deliver for the customer. So as KPMG, what we did is, as we were engaging with our customers, we started taking statistics. And we realized that we need to define very clear capabilities that speaks into a very well-defined customer-centric strategy that will then allow you to create that connection between your front, middle, and back office. At the same time, you are focusing on your customer experience. And we found that there are 8 pillars that an organization can focus on without worrying. And if they do so, you will end up having or creating higher probabilities of doubling the impact that you have in your organization compared to your peers. And these could be impact where you're looking at raising your revenue. You're looking into, say, for example, looking at your ROI, whatever customer experience objective that you are having. So as we look into this, I want just to share with you what is it that we then went through looking at those 8 capabilities, insight-driven, and I will go through one by one quickly, and I will be sharing as I go along on what is it that we noted is a contributor of some of those pillars as you come up with your digital transformation strategy. The first one, and I know Prof touched on this, is that as you are creating your digital transformation journey, the information being the new oil, the question you must ask yourself is, how am I able to create a transformation that takes advantage of the insight, the data, the toolings that I have to be able to meet or understand my customer as an individual? You notice that customers are saying, know me, communicate with me. They're asking, deal with me as an individual. They have a 360 view of the preferences that I have with regard to the product that you have. So when you look at that, an organization that have really focused on growing that, we noted that they have a chance of creating an impact of about 2.1 compared to their peers in the objective of trying to understand their customer. The next one here is on innovative products and services. Again, Prof, I had you touch on that. Like we're reading from the same clothing here, and thanks, Prof, for setting that context up. And we noted that this is one of the biggest of the contributor in the pillar as you try work on your digital transformation. And the reason being that after you have utilized all the data that you have, you need to curate products that really allows you to address your customer needs. And in this case, it will mean that customer can get the support they are looking for. Assume a case just as an example, an insurance. Customers are saying, don't sell me insurance. Let me buy insurance. Therefore, that means that whatever you are using to come up with the product that you're selling, it must really speak into my need. If I am a person who takes advantage of health and I want to, say, for example, take advantage of the data that I have accumulated using my gadget, please allow me to see how that can benefit me as you come up with a product that talks into specific my health lifestyle. Innovate for me. Support me during the time of my need. That's what the customer is saying. And that creates about 2.3% or 2 times 3 multiplier of the impact as you're looking for. Then the next one here is on the experience centricity by design. Our customers are spoiled. And I must say that in the sense that when you look at the platforms they engage on a daily basis, there are platforms that allow them almost to think that these platforms understand them 24/7 and they are built to think around their lifestyle. If you look at Instagram, Facebook, when you look at them, if you're interacting with Amazon, sometimes you feel like this person knows what I'm about to buy. They can even bring them home without me even asking. So as you are availing all this, the intuitiveness of the design that you have created must come into play as you even come up with your digital transformation. So for us, that is key, and it contributes to about 1.7 multiplier of what you're looking at. The other one is on the seamlessness and interaction and the commerce platform that you create. And this is the perspective that create an environment where you have consistent messaging between the engagement point that I have with you. Let me give you an example. Whenever you're buying something on Amazon and you have started your journey, say, for example, on your internet, with your laptop, if you later on go into your mobile applications, you find that that journey continues with ease. You don't have to struggle to have to restart somewhere else. Have you ever interacted with some of the banking, and it's unfortunate to, I won't name names, but you then find that sometimes when you go to mobile app and whatever you see in the internet banking, they are totally different organizations. So you start getting a feel that they have really not created a seamless interaction at the point of engagement. The other one is in terms of the middle office operation. How well have you made sure that the back office, as you try to keep the promise of the customer, there's a question of when your sales team goes out there and promises that a card will be out in 2 days or a card can be out in the next 1 hour. When you go to the back office, the enablement that has been made in the back office, does it meet those promises that were made? Have you created enough infrastructure? Have you optimized your supply chain? Have you taken advantage of, say, for example, the AI or robotic process automation to fasten your processes at the middle office? Aligned and empowered workforce. Let me meet people who knows and are obsessed with the customer. And this sometimes I really get to enjoy sometimes when you speak to some of the organization who, when they pick up the phone, they have really understood their customer and they call you by name. They tell you it's been a while since we spoke. I realize that in the recent past your buying patterns have changed. We have new products for you. Going forward, there are these new discounts for you. They engage, and by the time you're finishing up with them, you even want to continue with a bit of the story, just that they have to go. But from that perspective, you need to really focus on the culture. He said that the culture eats the snacks, the breakfast, the lunch, the evening dinner. But that's the truth. If you do not really focus on improving the culture perspective for your team, the employees that you have will not have that customer obsession. And for us, that's a key one because we have about a 1.5 contributor in the entire of that story. Digital-enabled tech architecture. The focus on making sure that the emerging technologies are playing a role. You are availing your product in where the customers exist. Majority of us cannot spend 5 minutes without looking at their phone. Are we there though? As organizations, are we able to make sure, Ian, I can see you on your phone. As we are doing this, are we availing this in the marketplace as well? And as I finish here, is the idea of, are we reusing what's available in SureTech? And I'm sure there will be a lot of panel conversation around this. Let's not reinvent. Let's not keep going back and trying to build solutions that already exist. Collaboration is the new competition. We've had quite a number of conversations around the fintechs and the insurtechs and what they are doing to complement. It's not a competition. You can be able to grow much by making sure that you're taking advantage of this. There is what the customer is saying. Do not make me go shopping around. Get into alliance with whoever you need to so that you can avail the product for me when I'm looking at it. Don't keep on making for me references. Just make sure that you're talking with your third parties. And those are the ones that we are saying, if an organization really focuses and say that I want to address these 8 capabilities, then I stand a chance of doubling my impact as I look into trying to build a sustainable digital transformation. But where do we then start is the big question. What we have noted is that as a result of the force and the push to have to jump and start your digital transformation journey, quite a number of organizations just decided, let me wake up and try patching up the bleeding areas. There's one step that you really must go through. And for us, what we have noted as being important is being able to do your maturity assessment. Do not miss out in trying to understand your customer behaviors, their buying patterns. You must start with understanding your posture. You must be able to understand the current strategies that you have. How siloed are they? Most of the organizations have got different strategies that speaks into different functions rather than having as an entire wide organization. Understand to what extent is your current strategy speaking in terms of your entire organization. To what extent do you have visibility of the technologies that you have in place? You could be having a lot of this technology and you are continuing to re-implement it. You do not need to do that. The idea is, how much can you take advantage of what you already have? And if you don't have it, then there has to be a question of, is there an existing technology that I can ride on and take advantage of it? You need to understand how your competitor is handling their growth. So there has to be a yardstick of what the competitor is doing, of what your customer is doing. Have a yardstick that measures the effectiveness of that strategy. And then address your culture. If you get a good understanding of how the technology adoption culture looks like in your organization, it helps you to have that in mind before you embark on your technology transformation journey. And the last one there being that the digital strategy must not just be restricted to some of the department. So the question of making sure that from the beginning you understand the gaps that you have across the different functions will help you then see how do you roll out that. And finally then, as you look into the dots, and this is a conversation we've always had with quite a number of the boards, is the question of ask yourself this question whenever you are coming up with your digital transformation journey. Join the dots using this. I spoke about them in my previous conversation on the pillars. Looking into what will give us the best of the data analytics. What will give us or allow us to create new products for our customer. What will allow us to create relatable experiences, empathetic experiences for our customers. Look in terms of how to create a future digital work-proof workforce. And then be able to create technology that really digitizes your processes, not just the idea of automation. And that difference was created very well by Prof. Partner with alliances. Do not reinvent your wheel. So every time whenever a strategy is brought before you, as a CIO, when you help the business, you have to ask the question, are we reinventing the wheel here? Or are some of these technologies already existing? And the last one there being that you must be able to take advantage of the emerging technologies. I would like to bring my conversation to a stop, and thank you very much.